Hexham, England. May 5, 1957. It is a Sunday morning. The air is crisp. Two sisters, 11-year-old Joanna and 6-year-old Jacqueline Pollock, are walking to church. They are happy. They are holding hands. They turn a corner, and in a split second, an entire universe is destroyed. A car, driven by a woman who had forcibly taken a lethal dose of medication, jumps the curb. Both sisters are killed instantly. The parents, John and Florence Pollock, are shattered. The grief is absolute. But amidst the tears and the funerals, John Pollock makes a statement that chills his wife to the bone. He doesn't just pray for their souls. He makes a prophecy. He looks at his wife and says with absolute certainty, "They are not gone. They will come back. I will have them again." Everyone thought it was the madness of grief. But 1 year later, the impossible began to happen. October 1958. Florence Pollock gives birth again. Against the odds, she delivers twins. Girls. They name them Jillian and Jennifer. For Florence, they are a new beginning. For John, they are the fulfillment of his prophecy. But almost immediately, he notices something physical. Something that genetics cannot easily explain. The younger twin, Jennifer, has a distinct white scar running across her forehead. It is in the exact same spot, with the exact same shape, as a scar the deceased sister, Jacqueline, had received from falling on a bucket years earlier. A birthmark? Perhaps. But then, John checks her leg. Jennifer has a birthmark on her waist. Again, identical to a birthmark Jacqueline had. The other twin, Jillian, she has neither. John is convinced. He believes Jillian is the reincarnation of the older sister. Joanna and Jennifer is the reincarnation of the younger sister, Jacqueline. Florence refuses to believe it. She is a devout Catholic. She rejects reincarnation. She hides the photos of the dead sisters. She moves the family away from Hexham to a new town, Whitley Bay, to escape the memories. She wants a fresh start. But you cannot run away from what is already inside you. 3 years pass. The twins grow up in a town they have never left. They know nothing of Hexham. They know nothing of the accident. But when the family briefly visits Hexham for the first time since the birth, the girls begin to behave strangely. As the car enters the town, the twins start clapping. One points out the window, "Look. That's the school we went to." They point to a park, "That's where we used to play on the swings." They are identifying landmarks they have never seen in this lifetime. But the most unnerving moment happens back home. John decides to bring down a box of old toys from the attic. These were the toys belonging to the dead sisters. They had been boxed up for years. He hands the dolls to the twins. Without hesitation, the twins name them. "This is Mary," says one. "This is Susan," says the other. They don't invent new names. They use the exact names the deceased sisters had given the dolls. They even mention that Santa Claus gave them the dolls, a detail that was historically true for the first set of sisters. Florence tries to rationalize it. Maybe she mentioned the names. Maybe they overheard a conversation. But the details get more specific. The twins begin to discuss the way they used to write. Jillian, the older soul, starts protecting Jennifer, the younger soul, mimicking the exact dynamic of the original sisters. It wasn't just knowledge. It was personality. If this were just a story about dolls, it might be cute. But the memories weren't just happy. They were traumatic. The twins developed a hysterical, inexplicable phobia of cars. If a car engine idled too loudly in the street, the girls would scream and cling to each other. Their cry was always the same, the car. It's coming to get us. One afternoon, Florence walked into the room quietly. She found the twins playing a game. But they weren't playing house. They were playing death. One twin lay on the floor, resting her head in the other's lap. Florence listened to their conversation. One whispered, "The blood is coming out of your eyes. That's where the car hit you." This detail froze Florence's heart. In the fatal accident of 1957, the impact had been severe. The medical reports, which the twins had never seen, confirmed that the injuries caused bleeding near the eyes. How could a 3-year-old child know the specific biological details of a car crash they never witnessed? For John Pollock, this was the final proof. For Florence, it was a nightmare she couldn't wake up from. The case caught the attention of Dr. Ian Stevenson, a psychiatrist from the University of Virginia who dedicated his life to studying reincarnation. Stevenson interviewed the family. He examined the scars. He catalogued the memories. He considered the skeptical arguments. Was John Pollock, in his grief, subconsciously grooming the children? Did he talk about the dead sisters so much that the twins absorbed the memories as their own? It is the most logical explanation. A grieving father projecting his loss onto his new daughters. But even if the father talked about the sisters, how did he create the birthmarks? And then, as mysteriously as it began, it ended. When the twins turned 5 years old, the veil dropped. The memories stopped. The phobia of cars vanished. They stopped talking about the before. They became normal little girls, living in the present. It was as if the echo of the past had finally faded, allowing their new lives to truly begin. Jillian and Jennifer grew up. They led normal lives. As adults, they had no recollection of the events we just described. To them, it was just a story their father told. But for John Pollock, until his dying day, there was no doubt. He believed God had granted him a miracle. He believed love was stronger than death. The case of the Pollock twins remains one of the strongest proofs of reincarnation ever recorded, largely because of the physical evidence of the scars. It forces us to ask a question that science cannot yet answer. Is consciousness created by the brain? Or is it a signal that the brain simply receives? And when the radio breaks, does the signal move to a new machine? This is Dormant Files. Do we live only once? Or is this just one chapter of a very long book? Let us know what you think.